Do you remember the fuss a year or so ago about the British countryside being too white, in fact so white it was a colonial space? Now, as I said on this topic before, the reality here is that the liberal establishment don't like history, especially British history. That's why many British people feel at home in the countryside. It speaks to our soul. Our ancestors have been here for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Now, because many of our new arrivals don't have that, we have to be labelled as evil and pretend that history started in Britain around the time of the Windrush. And you may wonder where this bizarre ideology comes from, and of course it's American race politics. Just listen to this lady talking about being a black hiker in the States.
Being black in the US means that you are very likely to be exposed to hatred, anger, over policing.
What, even in the middle of nowhere in the countryside with no one else around?
I know that what is especially nerve-wracking about being in the backcountry is not having witnesses, not necessarily knowing who to call for help, or if who you call for help is going to believe you, help you, listen to you. So there are these kind of existential fears and just general fears related to how we're treated.
This lady's saying that she thinks she's going to get murdered by some random white dude. I mean, she'd be right to state that there's an epidemic of murder going on of black women in America, 6 times the rate of white women. However, as you might imagine, the liberal media have twisted that into a story about how racist America is because black women suffer higher murder rates, although conveniently they don't tell you who is doing the murdering. Now, given we're in our dear leader Starmer's Britain now, we cannot speculate on such things at the threat of jail. However, let's just bear in mind that in 2019, Black Americans were 12.2% of the population and they were responsible for 51% of the murders. But let's just play it safe and blame white people in the countryside for these deaths of black women, eh? Yet returning back to Blighty, there was an interesting video recently which showed the differing attitude towards the countryside with white and black people in Britain.
Do you like to go visit your family, grandparents in the countryside?
Massively, yeah. I love visiting my parents out in the countryside.
I don't have family in the countryside.
I've got had family in the countryside, you know. He told me Edmonton is not the countryside.
I think the countryside's lovely.
What's in the countryside apart from Wi-Fi and far shops?
A local pub, long walk,
The smell of manure.
dog on the beach.
Local people, local palm.
No, that gives me horror movie.
Do you enjoy going on family holidays to the countryside?
I don't even know what that is.
You don't know what the countryside is?
No, I don't know what that is.
Like Devon.
Wait, what?
Now, thoroughly disgusted at this, our liberal establishment has tried their utmost to try and make the countryside more diverse. However, let's see how that's going. Here's the BBC reporting that the closed stepping stones at Dovedale, that beauty spot in the Peak District, are actually still attracting crowds. I wonder where these crowds are from. From this video here, it looks like Dovedale's attracting plenty of cultural enrichers. I wonder why the BBC didn't think to mention that in their article about crowds going to Dovedale even though it's been closed. They also failed to mention the demographics when there was a mass brawl at Dovedale just a couple of weeks ago. You can see the footage of that brawl on your screen right now. Why aren't the BBC mentioning that all these enrichers are enjoying the countryside? I thought that was the whole point. However, in fairness, they may have seen a white guy walking his dog and remembered they're in a racist colonial space and had no choice but to fight each other. Seems to me here that our rulers won't be happy till the British people are absolutely guilt-ridden beyond belief and every corner of the country is utterly enriched. It doesn't matter if these minorities want to go into the countryside or not, and it doesn't matter if you want mass immigration or not. You're going to get it because you're a disgusting person. On top of that, if you have any problems with it, Keir Starmer might have a spare space in jail for you. Anyway, these are just some of my thoughts. Do let me know what you think down below, and do consider subscribing to the channel.